Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us. This is our last talk of the day, and the topic is quadrupling data science impact, removing bottlenecks from your data science process. And it will be spoken by our speaker, Mikheil Nadareishvili, Chief Analytics Officer at the Bank of Georgia. Mikheil, you're free to start.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. Thanks for sticking to the end of the day. I know it's late for all of us. Okay. So, this starts in 2023, November, and it's 9 p.m. I'm sitting in my office and looking at this chart, which I had just presented to my board that day, and thinking, you know what, this time I really might have gone too far. So on the right, or your left, I guess, you see what we delivered in 2023 in terms of yearly extra profit through data analytics initiatives. And it wasn't bad, to be honest. It was 7 figures, healthy, honest, and I mean, not too great, but not bad either, right? And on the right-hand side, you see what I had promised to my board for 2024. And it was 4 times bigger than what we did in 2023. 8 figures this time. So I was feeling, I guess, if you want to put it mildly, a bit uncertain about all this. And fast forward to end of 2024, to, I guess, our delight and my amazement, to be honest. We actually pulled it off and delivered this. Year's not over yet, so we're on the way to over-deliver this a bit. I guess in the next 23 minutes, I'm going to tell you how we did it and what we learned along the way. But before I do this, has anybody heard of Bank of Georgia? One person. I'm amazed. So it's, I guess the name suggests something else. It's a commercial bank, not a state bank. And there are several kind of notable things about Bank of Georgia, and I think the coolest of them, to be honest, is this, which is the headquarters. Funny story, actually. It was built in 1980s, if I remember correctly, and it was built for Department of Transport of then Soviet Republic of Georgia. It's a really nice kind of symbol of crossroads. I really love this building. You either love it or hate it. I haven't seen anyone who's doesn't have opinion about it. I like it. It's just as a maze from the inside as it looks from the outside. It's really fun, kind of dark fun to look at new employees trying to navigate through this. not very easy task. Adds to the onboarding hassles. But other notable things about Bank of Georgia are these. We have just under 2 million people as active clients, and from European scales, it doesn't seem like much, but we're a country of 3.7 million people. So that's majority of the country. That makes us a systemic bank. It also makes us, I know it doesn't make us, but we are also a universal bank, which is basically we offer a lot of banking services from accounts, deposits, cards, payments, loans, guarantees, you name it, right? We're just as strongly represented in the digital population. We have 1.5 million monthly active users to our app, which was just rewarded or recognized as the #1 digital bank in the world by Global Finance, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. This is all not to brag. This is to make a point that we have a lot of data, and we're trying to make good use of it. And to that end, we have around, just under 100 people org of data analytics, and we run around 50 models in production, over 50 models in production, ranging from, credit decisioning, fraud, all that kind of stuff, to recommender models and propensity models, to, internal efficiency models such as optimizing call center loads and so on and so forth, to the Gen AI stuff, which, everybody, is the hot topic. But back to this 4x, right? If we're gonna pull this off, we would have to radically rethink how we did business, right? Did data analytics. Because no incremental improvement is gonna give you this. And we started this rethinking from kind of defining or redefining who we were. And after some debate, we settled on this, basically. So we wanted to be a data-informed, innovative business transformation center. And I mean, I don't think I have to explain to a room full of data science professionals why we wanted to be data-informed and innovative. But business transformation is a bit of a bizarre choice, right, as a competence for a data analytics org. So I want to dwell a bit on this. To illustrate this point, okay, so basically before this transformation, we would do technical deliveries, right, of models. So for example, if a cards department would approach us and go like, hey, we need a model that is going to tell us that after we sell a card, whether the person is going to use it or just stash it away and never touch it again, right? Because it's a big problem. So we would do the model, develop the model, test it, put it on a monthly scoring schedule, maybe do like a couple good dashboards about it, pretty dashboards, give it to business, that's it, right? But that misses a lot of opportunity. The value that data science, a machine learning model delivers is not the value, is not dependent on the model itself, right? Basically, it depends almost completely on the business process it gets implemented in. So for example, for this case, right? One thing you could do is identify the people who are not going to use the card and not sell the card to them. That's cost cutting, right? There's some value right there. Another thing would be, identify those people, and once you sell that card, or push that card onto them in some cases, unfortunately, you call them up, and then you try to explain to them what kind of good that card could do for them so that they start using it, right? Yet another thing could be, identify the people who are going to use the card, do focus groups, identify what kind of features they're missing, develop those features, and sell the card then, and they're going to use it. So 3 different scenarios and 3 very different values delivered. Even better, the third case, you don't even need a model. You just need to know who didn't use the card, right? So the business process that you implement your product in doesn't just dictate what kind of value you're going to get. It also sometimes, or most times, affects the solution itself. Sometimes you don't need the model. You need something else. So that's why we wanted to not just do technical side of it, but everything from data to value, right? And that would entail doing transformations in 3 areas. How do we work? What kind of structure do we have to make this new ways of working work? And how do we triage the projects? Like, how do we choose projects that deliver value? And underpinning all this is actually the mindset change, because this is a big shift, right? So if your employees don't fully grasp how should they be working in this new setting, then it's not going to work, right? So there's this mindset change involved as well. Okay, let's go through them one by one. Operating model. So this is a kind of a variation on the theme of all the standard data science project delivery methods, like CRISP-DM and DS process and so on and so forth. This is kind of what worked for us. And the way we thought about it, there were 5 main stages that we had to pay special attention to. Those ideation, prioritization, development, pilot, and deployment. Before we started on this journey, we would just do this, right? So here's a task, do the model, that's it. And the kind of big points at every step were these. So during ideation, we went from monologue, like business telling us what to do, to dialogue, us going to business and going hey, what are your problems, right? What kind of pain points do you have? What are you thinking to execute in next quarter, next half year, next year, right? Where could we help? So the great thing about this is that even though, obviously, business knows much better what their pain points are, we know much better how we could help, right? So this dialogue gives you a lot better and much more varied ideas. Once you have the ideas, then you prioritize with the standard consultant matrix of value and feasibility, and then get to development. And when you're developing, you develop the business process with the solution, right? Or the solution with the business process. Once you do that, you pilot everything together, which is, so for example, in the cards case, so suppose we decided that, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to identify people who are not going to buy the card, and then we're going to call them up and try to sell the good features to them, right? So in the pilot, you wouldn't just pilot how accurate the model is, you would pilot how well do various scripts work in the call center, right? Which is a pretty unusual thing for a data scientist to be doing, but here we are. Deployment, when you only have technical delivery, deployment also is very easy, right? You just put it on a schedule, if it's a batch model, or you plug in the live system if it's a live model, and that's about it. But once you do everything from data to value, you need to deploy the processes as well, right? So you need to identify people that are going to operate those processes day to day, hand it off, and then monitor whether they're doing it right. All right, so what kind of structure do we need to make this work? Because there are a lot of things there that a data scientist will not touch, right? So before, for any given mid-sized project, we would involve around 6 people. Maybe not all of them full-time, but around 6 people. So 5 of them would be what we call analytics professionals, scientists, engineers, analysts. And 1 would be, it says business professional here, but not really business professional, a delivery manager that knows a bit more about business than data scientists care to know, right? But this won't do if we're doing the whole transformation, if we're doing everything from data to value. And to that end, we basically increased the business competence from 15 to almost 50%, right? And we introduced this very crucial competence called business translator. And this is basically, it's called everything from business translator to connector in the industry. But what this person does is basically we loan a person from the business we're working with. So if we're working with cards department, this would be a cards department person. Not very senior, we don't want to disrupt anything, right? But senior enough to know the business. And that person comes to our team and sits with the team for the duration of the project. And they do 3 things. One is they bring current business knowledge, very important. So what are the pain points, and as importantly, what are the constraints, right? Because you might develop a solution that is just not implementable because of constraints. And they steer the development of the technical solution from the business standpoint, and they steer the development of business processes. They know everyone, obviously, in the business, and they help connect us to relevant people once the need arises. This actually sounds kind of, doesn't sound like much, but it's very important. And the third very important thing they do is they take the project with them once they go back, and they operate it day to day, right? They become the captain of this initiative. So they are responsible for actual value delivery once the project ends. All right, and in terms of backlog, here's a bit of a, when we first realized we did this, it was a bit of a shock, to be honest. So we took 60 plus projects that we were doing, and they were mostly technical projects. If you look through this, it's like churn prediction, right? Sales propensity development, something like this. And we took all that resource that was doing 60 projects a year, some of the maintenance projects, obviously, but still 60 projects, and we put that on 6 projects. 10-fold decrease in number of projects. And these projects now were business-oriented, right? So it never says, predict something. It says, reduce idle cash amount. We don't want cash littered around, ATMs and cash centers and so on and so forth. It's not good. It's expensive. Let's reduce it. Now, how do we do it? That's a different kind of story, but this is the kind of a name of the game. And so on and so forth. And if this was giving us this much gold, decreasing 10x, actually 4x value that we were getting out of these projects, which was, to be honest, pretty amazing to us too. And finally, the mindset change. So, as I told you, I mean, we could have done this all we wanted, but if the mindset doesn't change of people that are working on these projects, it's not going to work, right? And here's some couple important points. One is we went from, vendor-client relationship. Here's a task, do it, and now you're a good boy, you can do something else, right? To working as partners. And here we found that KPIs were the main thing, right? Like main, signal. So before we started on transformation, our KPIs were mostly technical, like how good your models are and how well you're doing the task that you were assigned. And when we did this transformation, we adopted the KPIs from the businesses that we're working with. So not give me like that card model which has like nice AUC, but give me, 100,000 more activated clients, right? And what this does mostly or majorly is that it signals to business that, hey, we're in this together, right? We're in one boat. It's not that we gave you a tool and we walked away and now you're trying to figure it out, but we're in one boat rowing towards one goal, right? And it gave us, it was a bit unexpected, but gave us much more in terms of like the spirit of partnership than we thought it would, right? Second is changing the focus of the teams. So, one day you're focused on technical excellence, and the next day you want to be focused on value. Not an easy transition at all, right? Especially for technical people. So, models to value, basically. And we did it in two ways. The second one I really like. It was not my idea, so I can say that. But, So the first one was give every team an estimate of their cost, which is, maybe it's standard practice somewhere, but that was very novel to me. So you don't, as a data scientist, you don't think about how much you cost, right? You think about in terms of like, I come to work, I go home, right? But understanding like how much you're, as a team, 1 week is worth, it gives you like the whole new perspective about your project. So if I tell you that half a year of your time as a team is worth like, let's say $500,000 which is a Georgian currency. And then next day someone comes to you and proposes to do a project which will give you extra profit or like 100,000 lari a year, why would you even touch that project, right? So it gives you like one very good way to triage. And the second, and this is the idea I really like, is that if you want something, reward it, right? So we started rewarding projects or teams that had projects that in the first year of operation would give you at least 1 million lari extra profit, right? Easy. And the reward is, simple, but still something tangible. So let's say a weekend retreat for the team. And the celebration is this. It's kind of a Tetris-shaped trophy, which basically says like how much extra profits did your project do, like what the project was, who were the people on the project. And the shape is really interesting to me in a sense that it's always incomplete, right? So the idea is that as you go on, and you amass these projects, you can kind of build this wall of achievement for yourself. It's colorful, it's nice, it's something to serve as a symbol. Right? And the third point, and I'm going to conclude with this, is going from pyramid model of talent to diamond model of talent. If you don't know about this, I would really recommend you read up on diamond talent in tech. It's a really cool thing. So basically, if you think about your people, right? So juniors, mid-levels, seniors, and staff, right? We were diamond-shaped there, which means juniors or like mid-levels were our main workforce, right? Which is fine if you're delivering technical projects, because it's mid-levels can deliver adequate level of technical excellence, and seniors, however small number of them you have, can help them do it. But once you go to the value delivery, right, you don't just need technical excellence. That's just table stakes. What you need is communication skills and business acumen, right? which is not that easy skill to come by in data scientists. And only seniors can usually do it. And if people can do it, they're usually seniors. So it's vice versa. So even though this diamond-shaped model is better for some other reasons as well, it's hard to justify to management the extra cost, right? Because seniors cost more. But if your seniors can deliver 4x the amount or 4x the impact, then it becomes really easy to justify, right? All right, that's about it. Thank you very much for sticking to the end, by the end. I can take any questions, but before that, very quickly, this is my LinkedIn, and this is the data science leadership blog that I started recently because I realized that there are a plethora of resources for data scientists, but not a lot of resources for data science managers about development, and I share tips and tricks there. So yeah, I'd be happy if you connect with me, and I'll take any questions now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikheil. Are there any questions for him before we wrap up? You feel free to take a few seconds and think of something. Yeah, here we go. One.
Just to have an imagination of your profits, if you are mentioning 6-7 figures, what does it mean in euro?
I'd say the same, yeah.
Okay,
translates.
Congratulations, very good.
Any more questions? I'll give you a couple more seconds. In the meantime, thank you, Mikheil. This is from us a little certificate of appreciation. And if you can't think of any questions right now, I'm not sure if you're in a rush, but maybe people can catch you in the hall for a little private conversation. And with that, thank you so much.
Thank you.